Hey crafters, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Bony bat bag. That's a tongue twister, huh? Well, we have a cute little bag that I'm sort of picturing as something that you would create for one of your kids, grandkids, or whatever for Halloween. You can dress it up all cute and fill it with some goodies and just kind of give it to them maybe on Halloween day. Maybe throw a gift in there, a gift card, whatever it may be. But anyway, so what we tried to do is create this or make this as a bag and luminary without making it overly complicated. So we're going to start off by taking these two pieces here and getting our vellum glued in place. Okay, so go ahead and I would just start by just doing little dots around the perimeter, and the green ones are going to be for the eyeballs. And then we have a purple for the nose and like a pink for the mouth. Okay, so just very carefully go around the perimeter. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put another layer over this to kind of sandwich everything in place. We just need the vellum to just kind of be anchored so that when we do glue everything else in place, it just kind of stays where it needs to. Okay, with this one here, get a little bit closer to the inside of the mouth. There we go. And I've got my texture side facing out. Make sure that when you place your vellum in place, that it is in fact covering the entire cutout. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on the other side here. And this is a rather simple little project. I wanted to keep it relatively simple. We've got the little candy bar wrappers, which are super cute. Those are great for mass producing as part of this bundle. And this one, obviously, probably not going to mass produce. Maybe make 2 of them, depending on how many kids or grandkids you have, or maybe it's for a special coworker or friend, whatever it may be. This one take a little bit more time than the candy bar wrappers. And then, of course, we have our awesome Halloween countdown calendar, which I'm super excited to put together. Haven't started that one yet, but I will. Okay, so I'm going to just leave these be for just a minute. The reason that I'm not gluing everything on just yet is because, well, I've got a lot of glitter on glitter going on with this assembly. And as you know, it's my favorite combination. I decided that I wanted to do it, well, because it looks cool. It's a pain in the butt, but it's okay. So notice that we have a front and back, and it is mirrored. So make sure this one has a little tooth here. If you put this one here, it's not going to match up. You can see that tooth doesn't have, it should be over there. So just make sure you grab the right piece. And if you also are gluing glitter on glitter, you're going to want to do what I'm doing here, and that is gluing it down, because this is going to slide around for quite a bit of time. And when I say quite a bit of time, I mean, you know, maybe a minute or so. It does take a little bit longer for this to sort of set, okay? And we don't really have markers on this. Just want to line it up as accurately as possible. Make sure you have it pretty centered, okay? And then once you have it in place, take it and slip it underneath your cutting mat and let the mat kind of continue pushing down on it. Okay, we do the same thing with the other side. Once we have these 2 layers in place, the back of this it's smooth, but it is definitely more permeable and has a little bit more grip than the glitter side. So we'll have no problem getting this glued onto that purple piece that we just put the vellum on. But for now, we want to make sure that these 2 pieces really bind and join. Okay, so you can see how that looks. So yeah, it's like this little skull. It's kind of different. I like it. See how that just slides around so easily. I'm looking at the nose and the teeth mostly for alignment. Okay, so I'll leave that alone. I'm going to put that underneath my mat, let that dry. And we have a similar situation with our wings here. At least I do. You may not be doing it the same way, but I'm using glitter on glitter. So the wings, we're going to we'll start off with the white, okay, and there's 4 of them. We're going to sandwich these like this. So this part, this will be easy because we're going on a porous surface and sandwiching it to another porous surface. The more difficult part will be when we put the next layer of glitter on top of this. Just make sure you get this aligned as accurately as possible. Obviously, we always want to do that. Press that down. And that's going to hold nicely. Do the same thing with the other wing. Just make sure that your glitter is facing out. Okay. Just like this. I'm just kind of using my fingers to feel and make sure that everything is lined up and flush. All right, perfect. So now what we're going to do, for me, this is where it's going to get real fun, is we're going to put this layer of glitter on top of this layer of glitter. And I may just take and just do one at a time and just leave it sit until I'm sure that it's fully set. Now, by the way, there is a little tab on this. You do not want to put any glue on the tab right here. You can fold it just to get it ready, but do not put any glue on it. We're going to use those tabs to anchor the wings to the inside of the bag. Okay, so there is how it should look, all lined up. And give that a good press. Make sure everything's making contact, and I'm going to slide that underneath my mat. Let the mat do the heavy lifting for me while I grab the other wing and put one side of the glitter into place. And then by the time we're done putting this one in and sliding it under our mat to let it set, I feel like we can grab the first wing and just get the other part of the black glitter in place. By then it should be mostly set, I would think. Maybe not, we'll find out. Here we go. That looks nice and lined up. Give it a press throughout just to make sure. I'm going to slide that under here. And let's pull this one back out and see. You know, it's getting tacky. I think it's okay to work with, but I bet I could still move it if I tried. Okay, so we're going to go on the other side now. Do not put glue on the tab, just on the main part of the wing. Okay, and then we'll put it on the other side of this guy here, like so. Get that lined up as accurately as you can. Just like that. Give that a press throughout. I'm going to slide that back under. Let the mat do the work. Grab the first one and get the other side in place. Again, no glue on that tab. We need those tabs for later to get this anchored into our bag. Okay. So this is one of those glitter on glitter is definitely when you can say that patience is a virtue, and you don't want to rush it. Otherwise, you're going to end up redoing things many, many times. You don't want to do that. Okay, so I press that into place. I'm going to slide that back under my mat, grab the first wing. Okay, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to take a look at it from the sides. It looks nice. And now we have some overlays that are going to go on top of this. Okay, and you can see, fortunately, with this glitter that I have, I can still see the little markers and where they go. Okay, so there's going to be one shape like that, and then there's going to be one shape like this, and each wing on each side is going to get these two. Okay, so, and this is another fun part where you try to glue cardstock onto glitter. And again, this sometimes even takes even more patience. If you press it down real hard and then just leave it, try not to move it, it'll set. Okay, I never like to use hot glue on any of my cardstock because I feel like it's just too thick. It doesn't look good. There, just like that. Leave that like that while we grab the other one. Where'd you go? There you are. pick a side, doesn't matter which side. Okay, and then you can see this one's going to go right here. Use those little markers to guide you. Now, if you don't want to add lights to this, you don't have to. I just thought it was a cool touch. When I think Halloween, I think luminaries, illumination, lights, and all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, that one there. So you can see that little tip there is just not sitting flat. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, throw a little bit of glue on it, and just paint that glue right underneath there and give that another press. Sometimes with cardstock on glitter, you may have to go a little bit thicker with your application. Okay, find the next piece here. That's this one here. And definitely try to get some of that glue out to the very edge of your piece. There we go. Give that a nice solid press. I had a little bit of glue shoot out there, but that's okay. Okay, so that's that. And this one looks pretty good, so I'll flip it over cautiously and get the next section in place. Our little purple overlays. Line that up with the markers there. If you're using this Encore glitter, your markers should show up pretty well, actually, surprisingly. I guess it's because it's a white core, which has its pros and cons. Line that up, nice solid press. Just be patient. Flip it over. Oh, I already did that one. Let's go back to this one, flip it over. 2 more little pieces left, and then we can start working on the main bag assembly. There we go. Yeah, those markers are definitely helpful. There we go. Let's make sure those aren't slipping around. Looks good. And I did hit these little overlays with a little bit of ink. There's a little pattern on the side of the box that I also hit with some ink. But other than that, since most of it's glitter and vellum, I didn't really mess around with too much ink on this. But there's your wings. Those look really cool. Let those sit and cure. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take these guys out. They should be good and set by now. Okay. And let's find the corresponding pieces for this. And you can see how that's going to go. Okay. So what we want to do here is we can just apply glue to the back of this and then glue that right on top of the purple. And then that way, once we have the bag completed, we can just take this whole thing and pop it on the front and back. Okay, don't be afraid to be a little generous with the glue here. This is super thick. I'm going to align the ears first, because then everything else will just kind of fall into place. There we go. Press that down. Beautiful. Take this, and I'm going to put this back under my mat. I want to keep it nice and flat. I'll do the same thing here. Okay, flip this over. What a cute little bag. I just posted in the Dreaming Tree group that I was out and about looking for, because I purchase props for my photo shoots to kind of make the scene more interesting for our displays, for kind of showcasing what we're creating. And boy, I left like 5 stores completely uninspired by what I saw as far as the Halloween selections go. It was just boring. It's just the artistry and craftsmanship, everything just seemed so cheap and mass-produced, and nothing that was like, wow, that's really cute. Maybe a few things, but nothing that I could use in my photo shoot. And yeah, so really, really happy with the stuff that we're putting out. especially lately. All right, so those two are going to go underneath. In the meantime, let's grab the main parts of our bag here. And before we do anything else, we're going to take and glue these panels into place. You can see that there's a slit and a hole, okay, which when you line that up, it's going to leave a nice even border all the way around. So let's go ahead and apply our glue to these two panels and get them in place. Just try to avoid the hole and the slit. This looks like a graphic 45 paper, and sometimes when the pattern gets real busy, it's kind of hard to see where your glue is. So just be careful if you're in the same boat. There we go. Press that down. Okay. There it is. That looks great. Nice pattern. Hit that with a little bit of purple ink as well so that the edges weren't so rough. I wanted to kind of blend it with the black bag. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Use that little hole. This hole here, the circle, is for the handle, which I'm actually creating using a craft wrapped floral stem, which then I'm going to wrap with a pipe cleaner or Chanel stem to kind of make it look more festive. Okay, so there's that, and then we have these two little floral scallopy shapes that we're going to glue on top to not only give it a little hint of green, but to also reinforce that hole so that when we put the handle in there, it doesn't inadvertently tear. We'll have just kind of a little extra thickness to help keep this thing nice and sturdy. Okay, so there's that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take and connect these two sections together like this. Okay, just make sure that this horizontal score line matches up with its neighbor when you align it. That's going to be our focal point, our reference to ensure that everything's aligned correctly. So pick one or the other. It doesn't matter if you do this one or that one. They both have a tab like this. Go ahead and apply your glue to the tab. Then you can put this down flat. Grab the other half, again, looking at this horizontal score mark as your reference, and then line that up as accurately as you can. You want to butt it right up to that score mark. You don't want to go over it. If you could dissect that score mark in half, you want to try to get the edge of this right in the center of it. I know we're talking like something you need a microscope to see, but that's essentially where you want to get it. I'm folding it over onto that seam, pressing down. Now we have one continuous piece. We're going to close it up now by gluing the other tab to the other end. Go ahead and apply your glue to the other tab. Let's spread that glue around, just like that. And with this, you can actually take it, just lay it out flat, grab the other end, and you should be able to just pop it right into place. Should match up since this is symmetrical. Okay, I might have gone a little heavy on the glue there. That's okay. Give that a second to grab and start getting tacky. And then you can take it and fold it over onto that seam. And there might be a little bit of resistance, but that's okay. That just means I didn't have it lined up properly, but now I do. Press that into place. Give that a few seconds. Looks like I got a little bit of glue that popped out, but that's okay because our overlay is going to cover that all up. All right, so now be careful here not to bend the wings, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to fold these tabs down. You have two pieces that look like this. One has an L on the bottom right corner. Put that off to the side for a second. Grab the piece that does not have the L, and what we're going to do is we're going to anchor it to one of the longer tabs. So go ahead and apply your glue to one of the longer tabs. Let's spread that out to the very edge so everything looks nice and almost as if it was like 3D printed. I can tell there that I'm kind of warping the ears, so be careful. Get that nice and centered. Right out to the very edge of this side. Press that into place right at the edge. And then you can take it, let that drop, and then press down on the remaining parts of the tab. Okay, there we go. That looks really nice. And then we'll go ahead and close it up by applying glue to the remaining 3 tabs. These tabs are a little bit thicker, so do a nice wide pigtail motion for your glue. If we happen to not get it all in one shot, that's okay. We can always go in and clean it up using our little painting method that we used earlier. But it looks like I got it pretty good here. This side, you can tell it's already drying up a little bit. All right, take the lid and bring it down, line it up with this side first, right out to the very edge. Get it centered, press that into place. These 2 sides should just sort of fall into place. You may need to give them a little bit of a nudge here or there. Make sure that's all nice and aligned. Fold or flip it over and press down on the tabs. Let the rest of that tab make contact. And then we'll take a look at our seams there on the bottom. Make sure everything looks nice and crisp. If you have any areas that are not making flush contact, just kind of keep pushing them with your fingers into place. And if you have an area that has a huge gap like I do, we're just going to take a scrap piece of paper, throw a little bit of glue on it, and just pop it right in that little crevice. And just paint the glue into that area. And then that way we can just kind of push it back into place and hold it. Might have to do it a few times because it's not always possible to get every little inch of it the first time. I'm going to try to multitask here and do 2 little sections at a time. With something like this, now I can tell that I need to really get that glue on the very, very edge of my scrap here. Because what happened was the bulk of the tab is glued down, which is really preventing me from getting this in there. So I'm applying my glue to the very, very edge of this scrap so I can slide it in between the 2 layers and just kind of push it up to help get that glue where it needs to go, and then press that into place. There we go. Now it looks nice and seamless. So that's going to happen. If this is one of your first projects, don't expect everything to just always go smoothly, but expect that you can fix things if they don't go smoothly. Okay, that's the fun part. All right, now what we're going to do is take our glue and run a little bit of glue around the perimeter, a little bit in the center. Take this other piece that has the L on it and just slide it right in there and press down. It's going to cover up the tabs and reinforce the bottom, make it look nice inside while also adding a little bit of strength to it. Okay, all right, so that's that. Now I'm going to grab these guys and we're going to glue them into place. Now make sure that you grab the right one, obviously. It's going to be flush at the bottom, and I think what we'll do is just match up the ears. That's going to help get everything nice and aligned, okay? So what we can do here is, since this piece that we're putting on, this black part is actually extends out beyond this little frame, we're going to apply our glue to this surface rather than trying to figure out where to put it on the overlay. Okay. Get a little bit in the eyeballs there. Okay, make sure you've got the right one, looking in the right direction. Line it up with the ears first. There we go. Once those ears are aligned, make sure it's flush on the bottom. Looks good. Then you can put it down on your surface and push down from the inside to help the rest of that surface make contact. There we go. And let's have a look. There you go. Looks great. Okay, so we're going to repeat that process on the other side now. Go ahead and apply your glue to the black part of the bag. Try not to get it too close to the little cutouts on the inside, because when we put our panel over this, we don't want any of that glue getting into the area where our vellum is. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but if we want to make it look super nice and clean, just want to make sure we avoid that. Line up those ears. Make sure it's flush on the bottom. Mine's looking good. There we go. Put it down and press. Awesome. Okay, so again, if you are planning on adding lights to this, there's really no rhyme or reason to this. Well, I mean, there is, but I'll show you what I'm going to do in just a second here. Okay, so if you're planning on lighting this thing up, this is the little portable set of fairy lights that I'm going to be using. And you can see that we also have a little pocket that we created so that this thing can sit in there. Totally optional. Obviously, it could sit at the bottom of the bag, not a big deal. But again, sometimes we like to be super meticulous about things and, you know, design things in a way where, well, just be kind of hidden and out of the way. But I ran a prototype similar to this, and I really didn't mind having the lights directly on the vellum. It actually looked kind of cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this strand and simply take and just using regular Scotch tape, just tape the lights to the inside here. And obviously you want to try to avoid putting tape directly on the vellum. You want to work around it. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. And what I would do too is, actually it doesn't even matter because we have this little piece. It's going to look crazy in there, but we have this little piece that's going to go in and cover up all of that stuff. So it's not a big deal. But what you want to end up with is the end of this coming off the side here. You want to, at one of the edges, when you get to the end of your strand, just make sure that this is off to one of the edges so that we can then take it and put it inside the little pocket. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to do this. I don't really have an angle for you to see this, so I'm going to do this. I'll do some of it on camera and I'll show you as I'm going, like what I'm doing. And then I'll probably finish it up off camera. And before I put that panel on there, I'll show you what it looks like. But you can see here, what you want to try to do is, and also with these lights, there's one side where there's a little piece of metal that's kind of obstructing the light, and the other side is just pure light. Try to make sure that the light section is pointing down towards the actual vellum, okay? So I'm just going to go through here and just get this in place. I think it's going to look cool. I have a jack-o'-lantern that we made as kind of a test, and that turned out really cool. And again, keep the what's it called? Keep the wires away from the vellum as best as you can. And just try to get as much of that light to penetrate through the vellum here. Sorry, I'm like thinking as I'm doing. It's kind of hard to talk sometimes. Okay, so you can see here what's going on, and you can see the end result. I think it looks cool either way. Even if you see the little bits of wire, I'm not overly concerned. But the idea is to just try to illuminate it as much as possible. And yeah, it's a little hard to get your fingers in there, but it's definitely doable, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. Okay, and if you want to start at the bottom, you can. And then just kind of coil the excess wire and try to keep it, again, out of the way of the vellum as best as you can. It's still going to turn out really cute, so don't worry about it too much. Just get that light where you want it, then put a little tape down in place to mostly hold it in place. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take this piece, we're going to actually use some foam squares so that we leave a little bit of room between the lights and this little piece, so that we're not squishing the lights. And then that way, when you put the little treats in there, it's not going to mess with the lights, and it's going to look really cool. You'll see. Just do your best to get those lights in as many places as you can. It's okay if it's a little sloppy. It's still going to look cool, trust me. I've already done a prototype like this. All right, so you can see it's kind of crazy in there. I'm going to leave a little bit just kind of hanging there, just enough to where the little battery pack has enough room to sit right about there. So we're going to grab this piece now, and I'm going to grab my foam squares. Okay, let's see if I have some large ones. I might have I've been using a lot of foam squares lately. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, we want the battery pack out of the way. Maybe just kind of have it hanging out. You can kind of crease it right there so it sits flat. You can see this is going to go in, and it's going to cover up these lights like that. Okay, which means that we'll put some foam squares there. Obviously we want them in the corners. Okay, and then let's work our way up. And I would avoid the centers because we don't want to put any foam squares that may end up on our vellum. So just keep it around the perimeter. This is more than enough. Each one of these is going to do plenty of work to hold everything in place. Okay, and then we're going to take this, you can lay this down flat, cover up the lights, just make sure it's flush with the bottom. You can put this down on your surface. I'm pushing it all the way down so it's flush with the bottom, and then pressing down on the foam squares all the way around the perimeter. There, see? Just like that. And you've got lights, okay? So if you want, you can do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna leave it on just one side. I think that's fine. Here is the little box that's gonna hold this. You don't have to do that, but I thought it was a cool little feature. I'm gonna put this up in front, and let's get our wings in place real quick. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take, and we have two tabs here. We're going to slide them in through the little slit on each side. And I think, because it's such a heavy piece, that I'm going to use some hot glue to get that adhered to the inside. Don't tell me this is not. Okay, there we go. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. And while my hot glue warms up, I'm going to take these tabs and split them, just spread them out. This is the little handle that I devised using, where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so these are the actual paper wrapped stems that we use when we make flowers. Okay, what I did was just kind of shaped it into a handle, literally just bent it. You can kind of fold it like this. I wouldn't fold it all the way in. Once we get it in, you can fold it all the way up like that to really get it to stick. You can just do this if you want, but what I did was I took some of these Chanel stems and I literally just wrapped it around. I think I needed about 4 of them to wrap it around completely. And I was gonna go with a black and white, but I didn't like how that looked. So I did one using this, this glittery purple, which I thought was appropriate for this project. So I'm just gonna wrap that all the way around, okay? My hot glue is ready to go. So let's get the little wings in place here. So you can see inside, I'm gonna put this inside real quick. You have the 2 tabs that we did not put glue on. We're gonna spread them out like this, Okay, and we're going to put glue on the glitter side. I'll do one at a time here. And I have a little fly friend that just doesn't want to leave me alone. Throw a little bit of glue on one side and then push it over up against the inside of the bag and press and hold that in place. Okay, so that it looks like that. And then grab the other half and do the same thing. Just apply some glue to that. Get it, make sure it's nice and hot. And then press that up against the inside of the bag. So those two tabs are now making contact with the inside of the bag, and it's going to keep the wings in place for us. See that? And there we go. We'll repeat the same process on the other side. Let's make sure that, just make sure that you fold these over first so that it's easier to get them in place once you do apply your glue. Okay, let me get that hot glue off there. Go ahead and put some hot glue on one of the tabs. I wouldn't try to do two at a time if you're using hot glue. Take it, fold it over up against the inside. Ooh, that is good and hot. There we go. And then fold that over and get your glue on the other half. You can, if you're not using glitter like I am, if you're using cardstock, you could get away with just using your regular glue. I just don't think that, well, I know it would hold, but for the sake of this assembly video, the hot glue is definitely a lot quicker. Okay, so there is your cute little bats. Okay, now let's take and, where's my little light? There we go. There that is. Now this little thing, very simple little piece here. What we're going to do is we're going to take and apply glue to this little triangle and then pop that in and behind this little wall next to it and press and hold that down for a second to join those two sections together. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Small triangular tab. Just like that. Dab that if you need to. If you got too much on there, you can move that out of the way. And line that up. You're just creating a little pocket. There we go. And then take these two tabs, bring them in, and then we're going to close it up. Totally optional, but a nice little touch. We like to do things like that. Okay. And go ahead and take the lid. I guess it's kind of a lid. And press that into place. Line it up nicely. Just like that. And press and hold. If you need to kind of help those tabs make better contact, you can slide a little dowel inside and push down on those tabs. It's going to be kind of hard to get your finger in there. There you go. There's your little pocket that is going to house this little thing. And then what I would do is put it on the side. I'd actually kind of put it over the wing. Okay, or maybe off to the side a little bit so it doesn't interfere with the handle. Okay, so what you can do is just take a little bit of glue, put it on one side of this, okay, and just glue it to the inside. I would bring it down a little bit. You don't want to bring it down too low. Okay, let that set. If you want to hot glue that in there, you can as well. Okay. So that's going to go in there. Once it sets, I'm not quite ready to pop it in there yet. I'll let that glue set. I'm just going to do it anyway. There you go. Tuck the rest of that away. And there you go. And then as I mentioned, leave a little bit at the end of your little stem, your floral stem. And then what you're going to do is just pop it right through this little hole. And then once it's in, just squeeze it together like that. So it's kind of pointing up. Do the same thing here on this side and squeeze it up. Now your handle is in place. Get those wings nice and centered. And there is your Bony bat bag. Okay, so there you have it. Super cute. And that little pocket holds the little battery pack. You got your cute little handle, and this one is ready to go. Let's turn it on. Let me take a look at what that looks like. That's awesome. Definitely going to be a fan favorite. So hope you guys enjoyed this little batty, what is it? Bony bat bag? Anyway, I had a blast. Hope you did too. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And if you make this or anything from our new Halloween bundle, I'd love to see it. And so would the rest of our fans. Head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where I hang out, Diana, Mike, and over 46,000 of our crafty friends. So again, hope you had a blast. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.